Welcome back to 405 Sports. Today we are talking about the Golden State Warriors and where, they are as a team right now. A lot of things are going down. A lot of, Jonathan Kuminga not getting PT, Moses Moody not getting PT, Brandon Podziemski getting PT, can they develop players? Steve Kerr, good coach. Do they make a trade? Now Chris Paul's hurt, actually, so he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So if they wanted to trade him, that's going to happen. So let's just get started with this. Steve Kerr, what do you guys think about Steve Kerr as a coach?
Too early to write him off.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with, because obviously he's done a ton of great things, but I don't know how much actually is him versus kind of the super team he had. So it's this weird spot where he's starting to see a decline in player production and skill level, and you're not seeing the actual coaching ability of him. And he's not, other than Brandon, he's got absolutely zero production out of young guys for the last 3 or 4 years. And so he's in a tough spot.
Yeah. I didn't like the quote he said the other day because Kuminga was obviously complaining, and he left the court pretty quick after Jokic hit that shot. And then he came out and he was like, well, I played for 15 years, and I didn't like the playing time that I got. So I didn't like that quote from a coach. But, yeah, I guess the only guy that you could say that he kind of developed was Poole. But,
That's
still,
true.
he's not.
Yeah.
Poole hasn't. He helped him win the championship, but still.
It's terrible in Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, he has the worst plus-minus of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that. But I guess we'll move into the next thing is, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. I feel like Kuminga probably has more trade value. But, would you like to see those guys moved maybe in that way they could maybe get back on track, or what do you think?
I just don't know what piece would fit with them real well unless they wanted to make a move for Siakam or something like that. Yeah. But I don't know.
I think their team as a whole is in this weird spot of they're trying to contend, but they're not playing at a level that they can contend. And so you'd want to see them they either need to decide whether they want to go for it again, because Curry's only going to have so many more MVP level years, or they need to just blow it up. And they're doing this thing right now where they're trading pieces. The Rockets did it forever. They just trade half decent pieces, and you kind of just stay in the middle and don't go anywhere. And so they either need to decide as a franchise to go for the playoffs and a championship now, but they can't sit here and not play young players and then still not win games, because you're not going to go anywhere with that.
Yeah, and especially with Draymond Green not even being he's not even on the team right now. He just now got reinstated. But if in that type of situation, you'd think Kuminga is gonna be getting a lot of PT. So me personally, I like Kuminga. So
I think he can be really good. There's glimpses, and there's certain games where he's really, really good.
Yeah,
you just have to unlock it. Yeah, a little more.
Yeah.
I was going to say with the Draymond thing, it seems like the last 2 years for the Warriors been way more drama-filled than just playing basketball.
Yeah.
With Jordan Poole and Draymond fighting, and now players are frustrated with their playing time and stuff like that, bringing Chris Paul in.
See, and I feel I don't know if there's necessarily less drama, because there might be a little less. I feel when you're winning, you push the drama.
Yeah.
It doesn't get talked about as much. Or when you're struggling, the drama gets blown up a lot more.
It was halfway through the year, Clay was awful, but they're well, we're going to push Wiggins to the bench. Maybe that'll be the answer. I was Clay's the one that's been awful. Yeah. Wiggins hasn't been much better, but and then Clay's been better, but
well, because even in the year they won the championship, I don't feel like there was that much drama, right? No. And in the year
that's true.
No, I'm not saying
you're right.
But the year they lost to the Raptors, there was a lot of drama. That was the year that KD and Draymond got into it, and that was really the decision that made KD go to the Nets. Obviously he wasn't in the playoffs that much because he tore the Achilles, but still a lot of drama went down on that team. And you're right, just it's a lot more drama filled. And I agree also. Whereas Wiggins should not, like you said, he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been as bad as Clay. I don't feel like so. I don't know. That's a messy situation. And then Clay doesn't like that he got offered 2 years, $42 million. He was like, that's disrespectful. But
and he's always I got 40.
Yeah,
play basketball, dude.
Yeah.
You guys aren't even in the play-in right now.
Yeah, he lets you know he has those 4 rings. Yeah, he does.
Wiggins was the humongous part of winning their title, too. Yeah. Like,
I remember.
Dude was rebounding like crazy, clamping Tatum and stuff like that.
Had like 17 rebounds in a game. And yeah, he was absolutely balling in the NBA Finals. So, and then the last thing, Chris Paul, obviously out 4 to 6 weeks. What is his status with the team? Do you think they try to trade him before that February deadline, or is there even really a point to try to trade him?
I thought it was a weird addition,
right,
when it first happened, but I figured it'd work. But now we're like, well, not really working. Yeah. And then I don't know what the situation with Gary Payton is right now either. But the one that keeps getting injured every time he comes back.
He just got injured.
But they like him. Yeah. But he hasn't played a whole lot either.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something, whether it's major or minor things.
Yeah, and they might have to trade away a piece if they don't want to trade away.
Yeah.
So.
I'm with Zach. I didn't like them bringing in Chris Paul. I mean, to start with, I didn't think they'd mesh as well as other people did. But I mean, like you guys said, they need to decide what they want to do because they can't just sit here in limbo. Because what they're doing right now is not working.
Yeah. I'm with you guys, but don't you think you had to get Poole off the team? Maybe not for that.
I think you had to get Poole. I think you had to do something. You couldn't leave Poole in the role he was in.
Yeah.
You either had to trade other pieces and let Poole kind of take more of the production, or like they did, get rid of Poole and try and get somebody else to come help. Yeah. But I don't think Chris Paul. I know that's the best they could get, but I didn't like the fit.
And it doesn't seem like they're letting him do his thing because when he came to OKC, he was a mentor for Shea and like other guards, but he's not doing that with Moody.
Yeah. They're making Chris Paul play a position that Chris Paul's never played.
Yeah.
And so they're putting him in this weird position.
I feel like he can make Moody that kind of like somewhere in like that 9 to like 13 point range scorer. I don't think he can make. Obviously, Chris Paul didn't make Shea, but he definitely helped shape Shea, which I feel like he could do with Moody for sure. So that's definitely a weird situation there.
If they did trade one or the other or both of Kuminga and Moody, what do you think they could realistically get out of it that would help them?
I think they'd get more with Kuminga.
Do you think they would just trade him for picks, or do you think they'd try and get something to contend this year? Because I don't think you can get a whole lot for like Moody, realistically.
Like do I need a vet?
But
like a dude that doesn't play much, like Davis Bertans, or
it's like they could get like a 4 because Draymond's not. You're not gonna bench Draymond, but
that's another thing is they thought he was gone in the offseason, and then he came back.
Yeah, I also just don't like Draymond.
Yeah,
we'll see how he comes back here.
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on how. I mean, you put it earlier, like what do they want to do? Like they're 17 and 18 right now. Trade deadline's coming up pretty quick. It's like, are we going to be buyers or are we going to be sellers? And if they're sellers, I think obviously it just depends on the record. It's kind of like how we talk about the playoffs. It's matchup based, but it's like if we need, if we can't make the playoffs, let's just get picks for Kuminga, trade Kuminga straight up and then get some player to match the contract, but let's get picks and something like that, which I feel like you could trade Kuminga to like Dallas. I feel like Dallas would love Kuminga.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of teams will look to get Kuminga if they do end up wanting to trade him. And I think that could be good for the Warriors if they have some competition so they can kind of get whatever they want out of it. Because I think Kuminga could be really good if you gave him like an opportunity to be really good. But
what'd they get from Wiseman?
A second rounder.
Yeah, you got absolutely nothing.
Yeah, not.
Granted, he hasn't been.
No, that's not looking like a
very
Warriors
good
issue.
No,
but
of developing him.
He couldn't even be healthy on the Warriors, so which I'm not sure the Pistons is much of a better development.
Probably not.
No, that's where players are gonna die.
Yeah, for all sports really, but that's a whole other thing. So
Dynasty over.
I saw a lot of that. Dynasty is looking a little over, which I mean people did say that in like 2020 and 2021, but like obviously they won the chip a year later. But
but that was a wild.
Yeah, that was a wild time.
And I don't think they can reproduce that year.
No, I think that year went perfect for them.
Yeah, I don't, because Clay is going down more than, or faster than people imagine.
Right.
And I mean, Curry's Curry, but Curry can't win by himself.
Yeah.
What was Kerr mad about the other day? Jokic just like pressing? Oh, I think the Warriors were rolling the ball up the court, so he was pressing them so they'd pick it up, which I don't see how Kerr could be mad about that.
That's a basketball thing to do. I don't know why he'd be mad at that.
They're trying to come back, bro.
All right, thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you think the Warriors should trade Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. Shout out Kendrick Perkins. Thank you guys for watching the video.